Grand Rising. Yeah, we're close. There's lots of things that are being activated right now, behind the scenes. So we'll work ourselves up to a World War III event, scare event. Yep. I think JJ Jr. is going to be part of that. Once the EBS goes down or whatever, he will be activated. I thought the redemption centers are open after EBS. There's some things that are being activated right now. The tier 1s, 2s, and 3s, they're being activated behind the scenes because there's just so many people out there that, they want to get through to, and that's what they're doing. I think the redemption centers have been activated. I think they're open, but they're just not open to all the public right now, like especially the tier 4B, which is the 90% of the population, which are the digital warriors out there. You. Yep. Yeah, we are the digital warriors. We're the ones that have changed. They could not have done this without us. But I don't know why they're saving us for last. Anyways, it really doesn't matter. They're maybe allowing this to carry on in the Tier 4B because this is the one tier that they want to bring in as many people as possible to collect their side hustle money. I call it redemption money, which is the foreign currency. I believe that that's what they're trying to do. Wake up as many people as possible. Anybody that wants to go and jump in on that bandwagon and take a shot at it. I think that's what they're saving Tier 4B, and of course Tier 5 will be the stuff that they don't even know. They might have money that's in the top shelf that they've collected from some vacation or whatever, and they'll just they'll go to the redemption center when it's time, when they're called upon. And the difference between Tier 4 and Tier 5 is the fact is that the Tier 4 is listening to what's going on. They're anticipating. Tier 5 is the guys that don't know, and they don't really, they just don't know. They're not tuned in yet. They got money and they're stuffed away somewhere from an old vacation, and eventually they'll wake up when the rest of the planet wakes up. Yep. It's all good. It's all positive. We're in very, very good shape. They're going to do the WW3 scare event because they have to wake up the planet, and there is many, many CEOs, executives, how you want to call them, being arrested right now. Yep. Got 30 ounces of silver yesterday. Excellent. Good move. Yep. XRP, Ripple, tied to Ripple, is very, very good investment. You're going to do very well. Yes, there's trust funds out there all over the place, especially the ones that are in the United States that have been recovered from such locations like the Vatican and London and other spots around the world. Yeah, it's all being brought back. The commander is doing an amazing job, and he's throwing the carrot out there and acting the way he's acting to flare up and trigger all the libtards. Yeah, he's triggering everybody because there's still people that just can't help but say the things that they want to say. And that's all being recorded. Yeah, it doesn't look good for them. We are the resistance, absolutely. We always have been. Anybody that has been, walking away from their cable TV and getting into the, online research and, assimilating themselves with, truther stations such as this and other, good podcasters that are out there. Yes. Won't people want to stop working? Yeah, sure they will. Yeah, a lot of older people, 45, 50, whatever. But they will. The people that are 45 and less will be encouraged to continue working, and they'll receive money to continue the work. And maybe their work will go from 5-6 days a week down to 2 and 3 days a week. Yeah. People are going to still want to stay busy. I know I'm going to want to stay busy. I've always been an active person all my life. So I'm not, I don't know how I can change that, right? And of course, we're going to be out there, helping things and investing in things. I believe all the good money or all the bad money is going to be moved into good people's hands, and I believe our economies are going to fly even harder. There's a lot of people out there that such as the 2020 victims, the 2020 victims of the CV-19, that are having. I'm understanding they're having some health issues and stuff like that, that still have not woken up. And I don't know. I mean, they might not even be able to, when the new technology comes out and, the med beds and everything else, their frequency might be so distorted that nothing will work on them. That's the sad truth. But yes, there will be a lot of people wanting to stop working. And why wouldn't we? Yes, that's... like it says, things right now are in a holding pattern. We're in a holding phase right now, and we're way into T minus 40. There are things being done, but the activation and their World War III scare event, whatever, will trigger the EBS. Yeah, along whatever's happening with the Trump. I mean, I'm getting all kinds of messages, and I'm just trying to, get them out there for all of you, for all the digital warriors out there. Yes, we're all digital warriors. We're the ones that the Space Force is listening to, and watching how this, the rise of the frequencies and our love and light, and they're watching and monitoring how many people are on this podcast or on Jaco's podcast, and all the new, there's so many truthers out there, some that are being, controlled opposition, maybe. You're a vegetarian 3 years now? I mean, it's each to his own, but as long as you get your, being a vegetarian is okay if you get, take your, get your walnuts in, your other hazelnuts, your Brazil nuts. That's very, very important. Getting good peanut butter. Peanut butter is a very, very high protein. Yeah, just get the right peanut butter, right? You'll go in there, you can Google it, go it, and say what's the best peanut butters out there, whatever, and it'll show you. Everything's got a review on it, including us. Yeah. I'm here, and we're only going to get 1% per month start out. I'm not sure what that means. I have not heard anything about any percentage. I know that there's money is in reserve, ready to go. Banks are going to disappear. The money that you have in their pocket right now, the fiat currency, is absolutely worthless. It's worthless. Yeah. It's just that, I mean, Joe Public hasn't figured that out yet. So everybody's using it because we're still in this, matrix trance. I call it, a state of hypnosis. Yeah. The matrix state of hypnosis being because we are still living in the matrix, and there's people out there that think it's just fine, which is not. People don't want to believe me. Doesn't matter. It doesn't faze me. I know what is out there. I know what is going to happen. If anything, I feel good that I planted that seed in their head. Speculation if Russia aerial attack has killed Zelensky, could be. He's scared to death and hiding in his little bunker. I knew this was going to happen, but this is going to activate a lot of things, and of course, all this tension that's happening over there is going to, activate and trigger a lot of things going on. This thing that Canada has committed to about, supplying and sending money over to the criminal activity that we have in Ottawa. Yeah. There's tens of thousands of Canadians that have had enough. They're sick of it. But we have a lot of NPCs and sleepers out there as well, completely comatose. Once they enact Gesara, my special project will be to support the golf courses. Oh, okay. Text or email me. We receive for appointments will be under what name? Redemption. Well, you'll get a text or an email because if you've done any business with any bank, they have your email. That's how they're going to get a hold of you. And then, of course, they're going to verify you, through your email. And then from there, they're going to set an appointment. From there, you're going to need your proper ID, a couple of bills, verifying that you do live in that particular location. That, got a passport, that's good. You're born and raised, you've got a birth certificate. They'll know all that as well. No, I mean, like it says, the cash that we have now on hand, all I've been saying is that we should, get it transferred out, get rid of it. You can buy your XRP through Ripple if you can. And I know that the QFS, when it gets activated in your bank account, you're going to have, XRP, XLM, everything's going to be across your dashboard. Your wallet's going to be activated for you and you only to be able to access. Yes, they have, Trumpo has a new Air Force One, and they give it, Cotter, basically, it wasn't him. He never paid for it. Cotter paid for it. It was $400 million. And it was sent over to a location inside the United States, and they had to go through everything. It took them 6 months to go through every nick and cranny and maybe outfit it the way they wanted to outfit it, to tweak it out. That was 6 months worth of military modifications to it. And they rolled it out there the other day. That tells me that we're into a new world. Out with the old, in with the new. And I'm here to help you prepare. And I know what it's like to have a lot of money, and I know what it's like to lose a lot of money. And we have to keep our heads on straight when we get all this money. Keep it quiet. Keep it within the family. Go out there and do, secret investments. Do it, very quietly. Don't go around and tell your friends. Just get this piece of property that you want and then just quietly move into it. There's 64 million properties in the United States right now that are up for foreclosure. Now, think about the stress there on the banks that are holding those mortgages. You don't think that they're not happy because they have to pay taxes or whatever they're, in their world, they think they got to pay taxes on, and that's just an overhead expense. That's really, it's cratering the banks. The banks have got no money other than what you give them in your deposits, which is absolutely crazy. They're parasites. Banks are parasites that live off of you. That's what they are. And governments are parasites that live off of you. They're both the same. They're both parasites. Stop feeding the politicians in taxes and stop feeding the banks in your deposits. Because they are your enemy, right? And there's, those are the two big enemies, but they have all kinds of tentacles hanging off of it. All kinds of fees and expenses and tuitions and, operating fees and interests, and, they're all tied together just to keep you poor and in the matrix. Yes, we're 4th of July is going to be, maybe Trump's going to be out there to say that the money that you got in your pocket, what I'm saying right now, is worthless, and we're printing out. We've got new treasury note, gold-backed treasury note ready to go. People that need money, I need money now. Yes, I know. Everybody needs money now. I know. But like I said, maybe there's things that you have out there, just get rid of it. And I know it's going to be tough to get rid of because nobody's got no money to buy anything, right? I've got absolutely nothing. I mean, I got things that I have been that were for sale through Facebook marketing and all this other stuff. Nothing selling, so kind of shitty. I'm giving things away. I don't need them. mRNA changes DNA. Yes, it does. Yeah. Any dollar come before 4th of July? I'm not sure. I don't expect it to. Other than your pensions and stuff like this. Yeah. I still think the military, the Alliance Global Gesara militaries are in position, ready for worldwide millions and millions of executive white-collar criminals to be taken down. Yep, it's in the millions. That's what they're saying for for the average Joe, and for the average man and woman to just go home and stay there. They need some time to get get these. They know who they are, so it's not going to take the long. Certain areas around the world will not need 10 days or whatever. Some will only take 2 or 3 days to get cleaned up, whatever, maybe a week. Other places might take a month, 2 months. Depends on how infested they are in those areas, such as New Jersey. 65 years old and you're hurting. I know there's a lot of people down there in the hood and in the I call it the combat zone, that are they can't leave their houses. They're being they got to lock their doors at night, and they got dogs, and I mean they just can't leave because a social, what do you call it, a pension plan or some kind of social assistance money that they can have to rely on, and they can't move from their location. It's a very, very tough situation. But I can honestly assure you that military is there, ready to spring all this loose. They're in the meantime, before this EBS is happening, they're still doing a lot of cleanup. They've been in holding for 16 years now. Yes, they have. Yeah. They've probably been in a holding pattern for longer. But I believe it's more like they've been, reactivating everything and putting everything and doing covert operations since 2016. So that's about 10 years. But this war has been going on for hundreds of years. And it really got going since 1963. That's about 65 years ago. We started going on the offense about 1964. Yeah. And it's taken a long time. I mean, think of it this way. Every level, from the top leadership of every country on the planet right down to your school system and elementary schools and everything else, all that stuff has all been totally taken over. So that's the level, all the onion levels that have through that whole social environment that you live in has to be cleaned up. Okay, that's not an easy task. Then that's done worldwide. Yes, we have just under 4 billion people on the planet. It's not 8 billion. They pushed it to 8 billion so they can start screaming that there's too many people on the planet. We need to, call everybody or whatever they were doing. It was absolutely stupidity. No, there's only 3.9 billion people. The numbers are so false, and they're so, it's just lie after lie. Okay, if they call me to the Redemption Center, I probably won't trust it. I don't answer private calls. It's not a private call. They're not calling you. They're emailing you and to phone a number. They're going to email you to phone a 1-800 number. Okay? I don't see what there's, if you don't trust that, then you'll go to the back of the line, I guess. Eventually you'll have it where you have trust in it, and you'll be able, you'll see how things are changing. you might not want to answer anything like that to begin with, and that's just going to delay your abundance, which is fine. It's your choice, but you're not going to be missed. IRS requests I go to a don't go to a person at non-filing last 4 years. No, send cease and desist. Well, I wouldn't even acknowledge them. Put their shit in the garbage. I mean, you could take copies of it or whatever, and then take it to court and go fight them. If you want to go through that headache. I don't even have a mailbox. The only thing they can contact me on is through my bank. Keep sending me my pension. That's all I want to hear. And the only thing I declare is what they give me. Anything I do on the side or money I make on the side, even if I had a business, I haven't declared it in the last 10 years. Got nothing to do with them. Golf every day. I'm 70 years old now. And have another 30. Well, that's good. Good for you. If you enjoy golfing, if you enjoy the things that you want to do, then that's what you do. It's your passion. You're 55 and just lost my job. Yeah, not enough to retire on. I understand. But like I said, you're only 55. There's lots of things you can get yourself into. Maybe do some downsizing, and we're at the end of this nightmare. We're at the end of it. So, like I says, I know it's not easy, but everybody's going to, whether or not you're investing in foreign currency or silver or metals or anything like that. It's got nothing. The Gesara Gesara or your birth certificate funds, all this other stuff. Quantum financial system has got, or your birth certificate trust. So everybody's going to receive money that's been a good person, hardworking person all their life. Okay. Gesara and Gesara is supposed to be no countries at war. Exactly, and that's why they're going to put an end to this. This war very, very quick. I mean, everything that's going on right now is controlled. It's going to be built up to a WW3. And then, it's going to wake up the planet, thinking that it's going to be the end times, and then they're going to EBS everything. That's, I think, how it's going to go down. So, the remark that I made about this, the vault and, Fort Knox and everything else could be, disinformation. I'm not sure. I'm not seeing anything right now. And quite frankly, I've been busy with things, and I haven't been able to do, listen to any of my go-to people. But you're very, very correct there. There will be no wars on this planet. 209 countries have already signed on to it. Okay, and the squabble or skirmish that's going on, the inside. Thing that's going on with Russia and Ukraine is a denazifying operation. Same as that little state that's inside next to Jordan. The Strait of Hormuz is opened up, and anything that you're seeing there, no matter who's winning on whatever side, that's all been taken care of. This is all for optics and. Enjoy. It's popcorn time. Enjoying all that stuff, whatever. I know people, it might not be the movie for everybody, but that's what they're playing it out as. And, we got to deal with this until, things heat up to such a point that, it's going to scare the planet. And then, the lockdown comes.